What is going on, everybody? Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Hope you're doing well. So, I wasn't planning on doing a stream today, but there's a topic that I've been wanting to write an article about. I decided I should just do a quick live stream on it, mainly because I'm bored this afternoon. I'm a little tired of just working on things, and so I wanted to take a break. And so breaks for me is getting a chance to interact with you all. And so a lot of my stuff has been focused on salespeople. And so this one's more focused on the marketing side. And so I'm interested in sharing this topic of a physics formula that I feel can solve the problem of top of funnel demand, but it goes even beyond that. And so, as always, you know how the show goes, right? Drop in the chat. I want to hear what city you're joining from. So drop in the chat what city you're joining from. And of course, hit that emoji button. Let me check my sound. Perfect. Yeah, my sound is sounding good. So yeah, drop in the chat what city you're joining from. We're going live essentially across YouTube, Twitter, and LinkedIn, and I think Facebook too today. So we got a lot going on, which is great. So drop in the chat what city you're joining in from, and I would love to know. So while you guys got caught up on the stream, so here's the problem that I see essentially in marketing. And actually, let me type it into the chat here. That's the topic. And let me put in the chat, drop in what city you're joining from. Put that there. Oh, and then I gotta put it in the main chat. Sure, what city you're joining from. All right. Hey, look at that. My dad is joining from YouTube. Thanks, Dad. Appreciate it. I try to look good when I come on these shows. All right, so fantastic. So one of the problems that marketers often face is top of funnel, right? Top of funnel meaning like people who don't have high awareness of a problem or a solution, but you're trying to get them in your funnel so you can nurture them somehow. I was going through some old books and was looking at this some formulas in physics, because physics is kind of a foundational piece to understanding life and the universe. And so if physics can be applied to understand the way life and the universe works, it's going to, of course, explain much simpler things such as like marketing, right? And lead generation, demand gen, however you want to define it, right? And so I want to share this formula, and mainly for you guys to think about how you can apply this. So I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to show you a video of a gentleman who demonstrates this principle. The principle is Bernoulli's principle, okay? He's going to demonstrate the principle, and then I'm going to walk you guys through how this essentially applies to marketing. So let me share my screen. All right, there we go. And now make sure that this is up all the way. And I'm going to angle my microphone so you guys can hear this. All right, so now let's watch this.
I wonder how many breaths it would take me to fill up this incredibly long plastic bag. Do you think there's any way I can...
And actually, I just realized that I have the wrong setting. Here we go. This is the one we want. Now you guys can see the whole thing. So let me start over again.
I wonder how many breaths it would take me to fill up this incredibly long plastic bag. Do you think there's any way I can fill this whole thing up with one breath? I bet you I can. Stay tuned to the end to see the real answer, but let me show you the standard way of filling this up. We'll take our breaths. One hardly did anything. There's 10. I'm not even halfway there and I'm ready to pass out. Is there perhaps a better way to do this? Let's see. Let me take all the air out of the balloon. And now we're going to use something called Bernoulli's principle. We're going to blow into the bag, but we're not going to put our mouth right on the bag. What happens there is as we blow in, surrounding air is pulled in as well to the low pressure area. This is Bernoulli's principle. Firefighters know about this. We'll talk about that in a moment. So here we go. One big breath. Filled up the whole tube. So I said firefighters use this too. If you ever want to get the air out of your room, maybe it's hot at night and it's the summer and you don't have an air conditioner, so you're using a fan, don't put the fan right in the window. Back the fan up just a little bit, and now it'll blow air out, but will also pull the surrounding air out with it. I love science.
Okay, so that's Bernoulli's principle. Let me adjust my mic here, and just so you guys know, I want to give a little shout out to the creator on this video. So this is Wolf Science. WOLF_science on YouTube. He's also got a great Instagram handle. So he's actually a high school teacher. He just retired. He makes these great videos. I really like the guy. I've never really met him, but I'm sure, if you guys want to tag him or something, I love for him to know that people are actually using his videos. So let me come back for a second. So as you guys saw, the whole purpose of Bernoulli's principle. Oh wow! Look, we got something. So more. So now I'm across more social media platforms. So I like how the whiteboard frame matches the red theme you have. Whoever the person on Facebook is, I can't see who it is. I can see your comment though, so I appreciate it. So here's the thing that just to kind of show that principle one more time is that the gentleman's trying to fill up that large balloon, right? And you can think of that, and from a marketing standpoint, as a funnel, right? When he was putting his mouth on the tube and blowing, right, it took a long time to fill. But the moment he backed up a little bit and blew actually with less force, it filled it up right away. And so this is a concept that I want you to think about when it comes to demand generation, but also lead generation. I know lead generation is this really dirty term, right? That people don't. Oops, there we go. I know that lead generation is this dirty term that marketers hate, but whether you like it or not as a marketer, like part of what you do is lead generation. You cannot just do only demand gen. Okay, I mean, when you're a larger company and everything, you can, but especially from the get-go, there's a place for demand generation and there's a place for lead generation, because in order to create demand, which by the way, there's no such, I hate to say this, and a lot of demand gen people are going to get pissed, there's no such thing as creating demand. You cannot, creating demand, okay, is essentially saying that you are creating desire. There's no such thing. You cannot create desire. You can unearth it and channel it, right? So you have to find the people who have that desire or that demand that's buried underneath, some things, and you have to find a way to unearth that, okay? So, hey, Stephen Morris joining from St. Louis. All right. Hey, Stephen. So that said, let's go to the Oh, there we go. Now we got a lot of people jumping in. Joseph Paul Giordano. What a name. Tampa, Florida. Welcome. Welcome. All right. So let me share now my screen and explain how this essentially works when it comes to, there we go, to marketing. Okay. So marketers, please stick with me here. Okay. And let me make this green. Okay. So here's what I want you guys to think about. Don't look at all the formula and everything. Here's what we want to focus on. Okay. Here is a funnel. Okay. So look, just look, there it is. Look, there's a funnel. All right. So let's just put this the other way. Okay. And I want you guys to follow along with me. Okay. Now, don't jump ahead. Just listen. That's all I need you to do. So if we look at Bernoulli's principle in physics, here's flow velocity V1, that means this area, flow velocity V2. Based on the formula here, which you don't need to worry about right now, I'm going to break that down in an article later. The V2, which means the velocity here, okay, is higher than the velocity here. Okay, so we can kind of understand that, right? You get lower surface area, or the smaller area, right, is going to accelerate this, right? That makes sense. So A1, right, this is A1 over here, is larger than A2, which is over here, okay? And as a result, V2, okay, see V2 is larger than V1. But here's the interesting thing, all right? Here's the interesting thing. The pressure here, so P2 is less than P1. That's the part that people are surprised about. Even somebody who has no background in physics, they would imagine that because of the smaller area, the increased velocity, that pressure is higher here. That's not the case. Pressure is lower, okay? And if you see, let me move this up a little bit, okay? Increased fluid speed, decreased internal pressure. Are you getting it now? Are you guys following? Right? So think about this from a marketing standpoint. Let's flip this upside down because I know, a lot of you marketers, you can't think straight unless there's a funnel. Here is your funnel. Okay? Look. If you have increased pressure here, which means high pressure to push down, right? It's not going to work. Again, let's look at the formula. Okay? P1 is going to be greater. Okay? See that? P1 is greater than P2. So when you have higher pressure here, okay, you're able to pull in more. As a result of that, okay, when you decrease the area, right, then there's increased velocity, okay, increased speed, decreased pressure. And the way that works with the example we just saw is that tubing that he was blowing up had, it compressed, right, towards the end, and as it blew up, it just increased in size and just kind of traveled, okay? How does this relate? Okay, look at this. Okay? Again, for horizontal flow, an increase in velocity must be accompanied by a decrease in pressure. That's Bernoulli's principle. Okay? How does this relate to you as a marketer? We all know this funnel. Top of funnel, you try and name the problem. You focus on the problem, right? Then at middle of funnel, now the person goes from being problem aware to more solution aware. Okay, so I have a burst pipe in my house and water's leaking everywhere. So it's a burst pipe. Okay, so if you look up on Google, it's like water's everywhere. What happened? Burst pipe. Okay, I have a burst pipe. What do I need? I need a plumber. Okay, that's the solution to a burst pipe. Okay, I'm going to get Bob's Plumbing Service. Okay, that's when you can name your solution. However, what I'm advocating for is that you try and create increased demand higher up, okay, which is up here. So what does this area have to do with? I'm going to put nothing about, and this is the part that marketers are going to, their heads are going to explode. Nothing about the problem. Nothing about the solution. Nothing about the product. And so I'm sure many of you are thinking, well, what the hell do you market up there? You market things that are going to be interesting to your customer, and I'll get to that in a moment, okay? The things that you want to focus on up here have to do with things that are related to down here. And so Christopher Lochhead and Eddie Yoon, actually this is Eddie Yoon's work in his book Super Consumers. And actually, let me come back and stop sharing the screen. And let me get that book, because again, I have to give credit where credit is due. And very important, by the way, when you own a library, aside from developing your reading, you should be a master of when you need a book, you know exactly where that book is. All right. So I kind of knew the general area. So here's the book. The book is called Super Consumers. This is by Eddie Yoon, A Simple, Speedy, and Sustainable Path to Superior Growth. And his book about super consumers has to do with the fact of finding somebody who's like an avid adopter of your technology or your product, whatever it might be. And the point that he made is that a super consumer of one type of product, a super consumer of one, is going to be a super consumer of 9. So for example, if you look at somebody who's, let's say, into music, right? Let's say they're a drummer, okay? So they're into drums. It's likely that they're also a super consumer of drumsticks, a super consumer of drum-related accessories, right? Those kind of things. Podcasters. If I'm a super consumer of the SMB Shure mic, right? It's likely there are going to be other things that are interesting to me outside of just solving the problem of sound. It's going to be like lighting. It's going to be cadence. It's going to be marketing. There's all these things that don't even have the word podcast in it that I'm interested in, right? And so that's where you create Bernoulli's principle, because think about it like this, and let's go back. And by the way, for anybody who has questions, this is a interactive show. Drop your questions in the comments. If you're not doing anything, at the very least, hit the subscribe button, hit that emoji button. Okay. If we look, right, coming back to this, what are some things that we can put up here, right? It could be, and let me just erase this. Okay. So let's use the example of, let's say your problem is let's say your problem is marketing. Okay. And actually, this is kind of a HubSpot thing. So I'm going to say your problem is marketing, marketing tech. Your solution you need is marketing automation. And your solution, let's just say, is HubSpot. Okay. Now, you cannot, I'm just going to repeat this. And the person who actually did a fantastic job breaking this down was Chris Walker out of Refine Labs, which is, I think he said something about HubSpot built their business through SEO. You're not HubSpot. Also, it's 10 years later. What HubSpot did to grow as a business is not going to work for you. However, you can get the principle correct, which is up here. What did HubSpot focus on? They focused on SEO, leadership, productivity. There's just all these things that HubSpot focuses on, right? And there's a reason why the HubSpot bought the Hustle. Let me hop over here. I think that's what HubSpot acquires the Hustle. Yeah, here we go. So this is Sam Parr, Sam Parr's company, who's a very very cool guy. I got to meet him a few times the HustleCon starts. The Hustle is a blog, right? So why would HubSpot acquire the Hustle? Okay, the simple answer is content is helpful. Okay, but the question is why are they acquiring something that's like not technically marketing related? Like the Hustle is more of a publication for like entrepreneurs and stuff, right? So it's kind of related. Why not a marketing one? It's because when you go high above funnel and focus on things that your super consumer, super adopter is willing to take on, that's when you start to increase the speed of those people coming into your funnel, into your pipeline, right? And so then by the time they get to a point of, let's say, they have the problem that your company solves and they book time to meet with you, the amount of pressure needed to close them is a lot less. And I've experienced this myself. The people who I've closed for my own, I have an online course, and the people who have been the highest source of revenue, who took the least amount of time to close and immediately converted, were the ones who are consuming my content for a while, but not just my marketing and sales content. They followed my book show, they followed all these things. Again, think of Bernoulli's principle, okay? So that's the thing that I wanted to talk about today. Doesn't look like we have too many questions because it is a Friday and I kind of jumped on sort of last minute. But that's how I think you guys should think about it, right? Which is, if we have a funnel, which by the way, I'm not crazy about funnels, but for purpose of strategy, it does work to conceptualize things. What do you do above the funnel, right? What kind of extra things do you create to generate that, a higher velocity of inbound leads? Because a lot of times they're not even problem aware today. They don't even know they have a problem. They don't even have the problem. The key is, how do you get that person into your funnel and educate them, right? So that 1, 2, 3 quarters from now, a year from now, 2 years from now, they're aware of when they have a problem, they can give it a name, and then they come to you for the solution. Just like that's how I became a HubSpot user, right? And the way you do that is really understanding the person you sell to very well. You have to understand them. And that means understanding their hobbies, where they get their information, what do they do outside of things. Like, I'll give you an example. A lot of people are not going to like this. I'm going to get probably messages saying that I'm a jerk for saying this, but whatever. Okay, for the people that one segment of audience I sell to, medical salespeople, okay? There are different kinds of medical salespeople. There are different ages, etc. However, if I had to bet my life on something, there are certain things that medical sales reps like. For example, the vast majority of them, they are into sports. Sorry if you have a problem with that. I'm painting with a broad brush here. Okay? The vast majority of them do not like to sit down and watch a long video. They prefer to just listen to podcasts while they're on the road, right? The vast majority of them are interested in making money outside of their role. So they're looking into like crypto investing or buying certain stocks. So when I'm able to create content that's going to serve the needs and interests of that customer persona, I create more demand and essentially more leads into my funnel. There's a reason why I have the State of MedTech podcast. I have Medical Sales Live. I do webinars on different topics. The reason is because my customers, just like any other customers, they're going to have different interests. And so the more I'm able to focus high above my funnel, and again, think of it like, instead of blowing air as much as hard as possible into that tubing, the wolf backed up and blew it just very lightly and filled it up. So how do I incorporate that principle? So like for me, I'm going to bring back my book show. One, because I love it. And I stopped doing it because I couldn't find a need for it, because it just didn't fit within my business model. right? Because I was like, oh, it has nothing to do really with medical sales unless I do like sales books or this and that. But no, there are other things that salespeople are interested in, such as leadership, productivity, negotiation, persuasion. Some of them are interested in better habits, right? It has nothing to do with anything that I sell, except that if you're able to get somebody into your funnel sooner and you start indoctrinating them to your point of view, right? That's when it becomes easier for them to think about you when they have the problem that you solve for. So I hope that's been helpful. I wanted to just jump on and share that. And hope you all have a great day. And if you don't already, please I'll throw up the banner. Where is that banner? Yeah, subscribe to my YouTube channel, The State of MedTech. We have a podcast as well. Spotify, Apple, all of those. Give us 5 stars. It makes, my goal is to be in the top 10 medical podcasts by the end of the year. We're climbing the charts, so join. A lot of people do it. So go give us 5 stars and then write a review. That's very important. So hope that's been helpful. Have a great day, everybody. See you later.